Previously on the Tour de Timor.
Over. Day one.
Beautiful scenery, beautiful people.
It was good. It was hard. It was really hard, yeah.
Memang teruk juga kan.
Don't worry. Be happy.
September, 4 a.m. in Lakluba, and the medical team begins their teardown of the temporary unit as they prepare for another journey to the new location in Biasu. It is a thankless job for these dedicated staff, but they understand that they are part of an integral and important aspect of the tour. Food is the first order of the day as the riders prepare for another grueling race, which will be brutal to say the least. As the sun rises, the cold winds from the mountains surrounding Lakluba greets the waking participants, in all over 1,000 people in the small village town. Amongst them, the Indonesian riders who are participating in the Tour de Timor for the first time. In spite of the troubled past between the two countries, sport knows no boundaries, striking friendship amongst them and the local riders. It is a sight to behold in former President Jose Ramos Horta's effort to promote peace in the country. While some prefer to keep themselves warm, others were just looking to take in their surroundings, and some were just happy to take in a few more minutes of calm before the storm. Meanwhile, winner of Stage 1 and defending champion Adrian Jackson is, as usual, quietly preparing for the day's ride.
Today's going to be probably pretty tough. It looks like there's a lot of downhill on paper, but I think there's quite a few short, steep climbs in there, so I'm sure the other boys are going to try and put the pressure on those climbs. So yeah, just try and defend my lead for another day.
After experiencing the terrain and toughness of the first day, American legend Tinker Juarez is looking to keep up with the leaders and retain his King of the Mountain jersey.
Just going to go and hopefully stay with the fast group as long as I can and as far as I can to the end, and kind of concentrate on the mountain points and staying. Since I have the jersey, that'll be kind of give me some motivation to try to protect the jersey or at least pick up some points.
As the riders prepare for the day ahead, a few others were also heating up their surroundings as others load their gears onto the Ford trucks. Lakluba is now abuzz with activity as the participants are in the mood for another adventure, and the excitement increases as the start draws near. However, race director Mark Behrens recalls the previous day's action and was impressed with the riders' pace on day one.
Listen, the highlight was that when we were coming into the last 10 kilometres, we had Adrian Jackson, the leader of us, chasing us down, and we were doing some crazy things in a four-wheel drive to try and stay ahead of him, because certainly a bike can descend a lot quicker than a car, and as it proved there, we got ahead of him about 4 minutes before we crossed the line. So that was pretty touch and go. It would have been pretty embarrassing if we had the leader of the race actually pass the race director's car.
Day 2, 2011 Tour de Timor. Get ready, Biasu.
Stage 2 from Lakluba to Biasu will be a test for the riders as they navigate through the mountains and move down south to the seaside village of Biasu, a total of 110 kilometers. The crowd has already gathered around the starting line as the community of Lakluba and top local female rider Francelina Cabral, fondly known as Anche, eagerly represents them as they present their token of appreciation for the lead riders for their presence in this humble mountain village town.
From Lakluba, we would like to give it as a present to all the, especially for the first rider, and national, international rider, and then national rider, female and male, and you have experienced the road, and then it's very bad, but you did it. So just to congratulate you. So thank you.
With last-minute instructions from Mark Berens,
3, 2, 1, go!
and the race would begin. Yet this rider's unfortunate beginning would trigger a whole series of mishaps along the way. The route at the start of stage 2 has begun to take its toll on most of the riders as the undulating terrain punishes the weakest of them. And this is only the beginning. As the race winds its way across the Lakluba mountain towards the town of Bikeke, it is obvious that this was going to be a long day for most of the participants. There are those who are adept at mountain biking and others who aren't. And the numbers just get bigger as I get a real feel of the toughness of Timor-Leste. At the front, the top 6 riders have made a punishing start to the race, threatening to leave the rest of the peloton. But a major setback hits yellow jersey leader Adrian Jackson as he punctures at the 40-kilometer mark, with teammate Ben Mather lending a hand. Taking advantage of the situation, Paul van der Plug, teammate Luke Fetch and Tinker Juarez forms a breakaway group to lead the race. Meanwhile, the rear convoy snakes its way through the mountain roads as they take the winding drive to the finish line behind everyone, knowing it will be a long day ahead for them. There are many spectators who are taking in the adventure that is the Tour de Timor, and these kids are making the most of the riders passing by their little village. Once again, the race takes its toll on some of the riders as the curse of the flat tire picks off a few unlucky riders, with this local rider getting a helping hand from the crowd. But some are happy in spite of the minor setback.
And to say, don't worry, be happy, they say, don't you?
With his tyre fixed, AJ tries to make up for lost time as he reaches the water station, but the 3 breakaway leaders have set a fast pace ahead. But the race was about to take another twist. Timor-Leste is a young country in more ways than one. In 2012, it celebrates 10 years of independence, and with it also a young nation who have thronged the streets between Bikeke and Biasu for this special occasion. It is something that each rider has experienced along the way as they pass by, and is in awe of the support that they receive from the local communities. Meanwhile, at the finish line, the medical tent has been set up and is ready to receive a new batch of injured riders. Dr. Ian Norton, the medical director for the Tour de Timor, explains their role in the race.
So we're here on behalf of the National Critical Care Trauma Response Centre that's based in Darwin in Northern Australia. It's a trauma response centre that works overseas for natural and man-made disasters.
He also makes time to visit the local clinic in Biasu and inspects the facilities along with one of his assistants, Casey. He's brought along some much needed supplies that is donated to the local clinic. It is, as he believes, part of the growing effort to increase the healthcare system within the country.
All right, I better go and see what's happening down there. All right, are you staying here tonight?
Yeah, tonight, after tomorrow.
Go home. Okay. Well, I think very early, 5 o'clock we go. 5:30 to Iliamar. All right. Thanks again.
For your friend in the hospital.
I will do. All right. Thanks again. Cheers.
Back to the race, and more riders have been left by the wayside. None more so than this rider.
It's heavier.
What's that?
Where did you the bike broken?
Yeah, the bearing's locked up.
Where, here or there?
Yeah, here.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then you put it there. This is your bike over there?
Yeah, there's more shade here. So.
Okay.
Up in front, the pace has gathered as teammates Paul and Luke makes a break from Tinker, a man more than twice their age at 51 years old. Younger and stronger, the duo sets an even faster pace and leaves him behind to ride on his own. Whilst the battle in front heats up, local top rider Orlando da Costa battles through the stage through familiar terrain to maintain his lead as the overall top Timorese rider, navigating with energy towards Biasu. Further back, the terrain is proving to be a tough challenge for the riders. Most are participating in the tour for the first time, but despite the daunting task, they continue to trundle their way through the course with enthusiasm. Meanwhile,
Yeah, I was doing okay. I was riding with AJ, and he had a puncher, and I think we would have got back on the flat.
Oh.
The lead.
Yeah.
Not to worry.
Stage 2 from Lakluba to Biasu sees teammates Paul van der Plug and Luke Fetch maintain a steady lead, and with closest rival Adrian Jackson suffering a flat, the young duo are in line for a 1-2 finish, barring any accidents. Tinker Juarez is third and is going it alone as he tries to play catch-up, but knows that it's almost an impossible task against his younger competitors. Others navigate through the terrain, which has become more flatter as they near the finish line at Biasu, but this is Timor-Leste and nothing can be taken for granted, and none more so than female lead jersey holder Peter Mullins, who appears to be carrying an injury as she ploughs through the course. The crowd gets bigger nearer the finish line, and there is renewed energy amongst the riders as they pass through the villages. However, this stage belonged to Luke Fetch and Paul van der Plug as the two teammates crossed the line in a 1-2 finish. And for Luke, finishing in 4 hours, 12 minutes and 10 seconds, he believed AJ's bad luck contributed to their win.
It was more of a selection really. AJ and Ben May, they were pretty much had the pace on from the gun, and we ended up with just 6 guys in the bunch, and then at about the 40k mark on a descent, AJ punctured, so Ben stopped with AJ and we sort of just kept up their own tempo, and then no one caught us for quite a while, so we just sort of, it was a good chance I guess, so we put the pace on, and at about 30k's to go, so there's a slight hill and Tinker was just sitting on, so we put the gas down a bit. He dropped off the back of the bunch, and then we're just swapping off turns the whole way pretty much, so yeah, it was a good stage for us.
Teammate Paul, only 1 second behind, admitted that they maintained a ridiculous pace at the start, but they knew they could drive on the flat sections. However, it was another second place finish for the younger van der Plug, but was challenged by the change in weather, a major factor in the race.
We had a full range of weather today, yeah. It started off cold in the morning, and then we even had a little bit of rain in the middle of the race, and then towards the end it was getting really hot, and fluid intake was really important. Like, we were both running out of fluid, and then I was about to completely explode with 500 metres to go, and then we saw the flags and we just started driving it there, so it was a good feeling.
And despite finishing third, Tinker Juarez was a spent man as he crossed the line in Biasu in 4 hours, 23 minutes and 30 seconds.
Well, I just knew today was going to be a tough day. I think I did a little bit too much yesterday, pushing it too hard and everything. Really didn't even set a good pace to be ready for today. So today I paid the price hard.
But the crowd along the way was a great motivator on his lonely stretches.
It's about the only thing that could keep me motivated, you know. The people are really, really fun to see. It's always nice to see the people in the village. I wave to them and stuff like that, so it's really cool. You know, I mean, even having my worst day, I still have the love to see the kids and wave to them, you know.
And it all went wrong for stage 1 winner Adrian Jackson, and despite finishing in 6th, he was more than 13 minutes behind the winner and rues the fact that the breakdown has cost him precious time.
I had a flat. I mean, it wasn't too bad. We changed it pretty quickly, and me and Ben stopped with me and changed it because he's my teammate working with me. We got going again, but soon after that, Ben had a flat as well. So then I was on my own, having to chase down the group of 3 up the road who would have been all working together as hard as they could. Eventually I caught Rowan, who was a friend of mine, and we sort of worked as best we could, but we were probably losing time the whole way to the front 3, so I don't know how much time I've lost in the end, but I'm sure I'm out of the top 3 overall. So
Peter Mullins was amongst a motley bunch of top riders, and although not finishing as the stage 2 female winner, maintained her overall lead classification. However, the tough stage had its effect and proudly shows off her newest addition.
jammed my chain at the top of a hill, and then I just thought I'd get back on in the descent, and I went a little bit too hot into 2 corners because I crashed twice in that descent, and then the girls voted for me at the bottom.
Peter's teammate and stage winner for this race, Catherine O'Shea, was pleased with her results but maintained that the team and Peter was her priority.
Yeah, look, we really just wanted to cover Peter and keep her in GC, and then for Naomi or I or both to try and get some bit more time into Mel, because she was only sitting 2 minutes behind us after yesterday. So we just want to make sure that we can secure those top 3 GC spots. So that was our big aim.
However, local female rider Anche was also on the injury list as she limped back to the finish.
Ohing lorong senti anisang do kutuang tambor si kalayana depois ohine sa mas barak laos ternya lolos laos tunde barak lebe sa mas barak nomos sae perigo ituang então how consegue mono então liman ne baho tu idanemos ba nomos iane maybe bangira how mono how hader depois kari lakon minuto idane sane maybe how continua.
The awards ceremony gets underway as more riders enter Biasu, but meanwhile...
Yeah. Hard bit over, man. Work.
You alright?
Yeah, all good.
Anything?
Nah, broke bike. Yeah. Got a good downhill coming up now.
The campsite is already abuzz with activity, with many riders and participants setting their own locations for the night. Elite female rider Naomi Hansen is a veteran of the Tour de Timor and is well aware of the need for a good camp.
Sorry? Good afternoon. This is my tent. Last year I bought like a mozzie dome and I had a scorpion in my tent, so I bought something with a floor. So I actually bought a tent, which is a lot better because the mozzie dome doesn't have a floor in it, and so I found creepy crawlies and things like that in it. But it's really important to have like a fly screen so the mozzies don't get in. Something that's light because you have to bring it all this way. And generally, last year it rained a lot, but generally it doesn't rain.
And some obviously are already experts at maximizing their locations.
I'm the support person for the She Spoke Australia, one of the Australian ladies teams. So part of my job is putting up the tents and hanging out the washing.
So you're mum?
I'm mum. I'm everything. I'm driver, mum, shoulder to cry on, plumber, tent erector. Many things.
Although some are getting used to the Tour de Timor experience.
I would say the hardest, from a rider's perspective, the hardest thing is the 2 or 3 hours in the morning because instead of being able to just get up, eat your breakfast and get on your bike and ride, you've got to pack up everything hours before you're going to ride, get everything stowed away on trucks, so it's the logistics, and then you just got to sit around for 2 hours waiting to ride. So yeah, that's pretty hard that's harder than the riding. We all come here to ride our bikes, so yeah, the sitting around like that's hard to deal with, but it's just all part of it, part of the experience.
Once again, the medical team tends to the sick and wounded, but on this very night, one female rider has been told that her journey on the Tour de Timor has come to an end.
I have had a nasty little bug that has gone through my pee and lodged itself in my kidneys.
Oh, what does that mean?
I have a kidney infection.
And how did you get that?
I don't know. It's one of the mysteries of women's anatomy.
Oh, poor thing.
But it has ended my race.
Oh, how's the Tour de Timor been so far? The first couple of days, was it worth it?
First day was, it was good fun, and then I got sick, and it's over. It's a lot of training.
How are you feeling? Are you okay?
Sad.
As night falls, another hard day is over, and yet the atmosphere is still ongoing. In the next episode of the Tour de Timor, the race heats up towards Ilioma. A new battle begins, and an unlikely local hero emerges.